Do you like blowing things up in the world of Diablo 3? Then you might like Season 21's Corpse Explosion Necromancer, right? Slated for patch 269. The whole build, whether it's the speed build or the push build, you're blowing stuff up. And it's pretty strong. I believe right now, currently on the PTR, it is rank 1. It's on par with Meleemancer. We're going to cover in a future video. But yeah, Corpse Explosion is tremendous amounts of fun. I think anybody that watches the stream when I play it, or I guess you can see the footage now, it's pretty fun to play. Like the speed build, you run around and you have basically perma Line of the Dead. We're using Ingeom and Messerschmitt in the cube. So we're getting crazy cooldown, and there is some gaps where we don't have it, but that's when the golem comes in, and the golem's up to kind of fill that space and give us corpses. He can create up to 8 corpses. Even with 800 Paragon, 100 gem levels, really low level testing, we're able to kill elites with just the golem alone, just the 8 corpses from the golem. So it performs well at a low level. It's LoD, so you have to have full ancients. So maybe you can play like Inarius Corpse Explosion until you get to that level of LoD, which we're going to include the video, the builds and the description and all that stuff. Always, like we talked about last time. Let me cut here. My website, bloodshed.com, right? I have all the builds we're working on, and not all of them, most of them are up here. I still have to add a few more. But yeah, these are all like the work in progress builds, right? And even with the build guide today, it's just to get it out there and let you guys know what's coming. This is my favorite build of the PTR. This is what's coming, right? Things are gonna change. I'm always tweaking the builds. So let's click on it together right here. LoD CE push, right? So even the stat priorities, all the gems aren't here, but I do have the build so you can try it out on the PTR if you wanted. Like this is basically the build, stack cooldown everywhere, and use red gems, cooldown gem, green gem in the weapon. So all that stuff we're gonna fill out. I'm just in the process of kind of tinkering. They also haven't, on Diablo fans or D3 Planner, they haven't added the new items yet. So we can't even add it. At this point, there's no PTR like there normally is to even play with the new stuff. So anyway, the push build's cool too. You guessed it, you get to blow up corpses. I really like these kind of builds like Exploding Palm Monk and Corpse Explosion, all that things like that. So yeah, you are waiting on your 2-minute cooldown like you did with Corpse Lance. You wait for like the 2-minute cooldown and you go in and that's when you DPS. So people might really hate that. We've suffered from 2-minute cooldowns for many years on Necromancer, but it's almost like you get paid off in dividends, or like, it's almost like you get paid off for it because it's so much fun. Like it's cool to jump in and just ba-boom, ba-boom, right? Like it's a bigger payoff. So at least you have something to look forward to. It's like fireworks every 2 minutes versus like you feel like you can't do anything. So there's a lot of builds this season for Necro. We're going to cover a bunch of them on these videos. So just keep that in mind. If this is not for you, then there'll definitely be more in the future. So here's the push build. It's pretty cool. You can see like a mock-up of everything that looks like. And again, this is all on my website or in the description. You can check it out. Stone Gauntlets give us 250% armor, which is a lot of survivability. You know what I mean? And then Ice Climbers make us immune to immobilize effects, which in turn gives us no negative effects from Stone Gauntlets. We're jumping in using Grim Scythe. We have a 100% chance to curse because of the Trigol Fang. The curses synergize with Dainties, right, to give us damage reduction. The offhand is more of a stat stick, so you want to use your best one that you have available. You want cooldown, Corpse Explosion, crit, probably the best 3 stats. Really cool, we get to use Nemesis Bracers in the cube, or on our character, but you could also use Parthens for the damage reduction. Aquila, since we're almost at full resource all the time, Aquila is really good. The Oryx for more cooldown. Johnstone gives us a multiplier on Corpse Explosion after Line of the Dead ends. So when this is over and you have some corpses left over, you're still getting a nice huge boost to your DPS. And you can even wait, if you see a bunch of corpses, you can even wait for another poison cycle and then, DPS them down and all that stuff. That's pretty awesome. Same thing with the shoulder. You probably want to use the skeleton shoulders like we have in right here. Maybe like these ones would be the best, but most likely it's going to be hard to get those. A lot of people are just going to use a stat stick. So I have corpse explosion damage, cooldown, and area damage on here. And then you can see on the chest piece, corpse explosion as well. I think I 3-cycled a 125 Rift Guardian. So we need Stricken, Trapped, and then the LoD gem, of course. Grasp of Essence. The reason why this is even a thing, really, well, there's 2 reasons why this build is a thing. And that's because they buffed the Corpse Gauntlets, Grasps of Essence. They doubled it. So now it does 200% damage per stack. And even the base damage of Corpse Explosion is 1,000 now. So they buffed the base damage of the spell. Huge. Huge. Makes your leveling experience even better. So watch for the Necro starter guide also. And the gauntlets, right? It just brings it to prominence, just like that. And we're using Nayer's Black Death, so you need to use all your poison skills. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that gives us a 500% multiplier, and then plus Triggle Fang. Awesome stuff. And then Crispins, we get a huge damage bonus when they stun. So let's talk about the rotation, like how to actually play the build. So like, let's say all the enemies were on the waypoint here, and we're just kind of making sure they're all cursed, staying alive, like so. I can probably throw in some gameplay footage really quick too to kind of overlay it or something like that. But yeah, and then you're waiting. So COE is up a lot because you only have 3 elements with Necro. So you have a 33% uptime. So during like physical cycle, we're gonna jump in like so. And make sure you have all your Nayer's buffs active. I'm just gonna wait for the next physical cycle, right? So you jump in and you pop Line of the Dead and start DPSing. And then right when you hit poison, like instantly, you wanna stun them for that bone armor proc, right? To proc your Crispins. And then you wanna make sure so you're DPSing throughout the full duration of poison cycle, because that's when you do your huge DPS. Right, the build is moderately tanky, but it's not squishy, but it's not tanky. It's like in the middle ground. So it's kind of cool. You'll see in the video, like I'm always procced or low health, but I don't like die, right? Final Service is the cheat death. Blood is power, gives us cooldown. Eternal Torment keeps up our curses constantly, especially on a push variation. For speeds, it might not be necessary. A curse lasts 30 seconds. But on a push, you might be building them up for like a minute or so. So it's nice to have them all cursed so they take that bonus damage. Standalone gives us 100% armor, but we have 1 minion, so it gives us 90. 90 is still dope. That's really good. So yeah, fun build, fun to play. Again, if there's any corrections, they will be updated and all that stuff. I might do a Diablo fans link of this too. That way I can put stuff in the description. But yeah, I use D3 Planner usually when I'm on the PTR doing mock-ups. It's easy to kind of switch things around and all that. Again, check out the website if you want to see any of the builds and all that stuff. Shout out to all the patrons that help support the stream. Looks like we had Doug over here supporting the stream. Jean R. Austin. Thank you guys, man. It really means a lot. We got Dave. Jared. Lots of patrons. Alex N. Thank you. Much support. Jeremy. I got some of these on the podcast. If you don't, yeah, and then Chris also. So I'm not sure how far back. I got some of you guys on the podcast. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, because of all the patron support and all that stuff over the years, I always put my builds on Patreon. Now I moved them to the website. So now we have a full service website with everything. Our podcast, our weekly Diablo podcast, which you can find there. Our 2 YouTube channels, the Twitch stream, the live feed is on there. And yeah, some pictures and other things you can check out for sure. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're excited for season 21 like I am. This is Bluddshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.